Hi, I'm Kevin Reese with Sightmark. I'm here today to talk to you about using mill-dash reticles. This is a Sightmark Pinnacle 3-18 by 44. There are a couple of other Sightmark scopes also that use mill-dash reticles, like the Citadel and the Latitude. There's a lot going on underneath these turret caps and inside this tube to help you get on target and stay there. But the reticle is designed to help you successfully use holdovers, determine windage and elevation adjustments, acquire zero, and even range targets. The Pinnacle's tactical mill-dash reticle, also known as a TMD reticle, is comprised of referencing points including crosshairs, subtension or referencing lines, also known as hash marks, numbers along the vertical and horizontal axis, and a grid pattern in the lower half of the reticle some people refer to as a Christmas tree or referencing grid. So let's take a look at each reticle element and learn how they can be useful. The first and most obvious element of this and most other reticles are the crosshairs. Crosshairs comprise of the primary vertical and horizontal axes referencing lines that intersect at the reticle center point. Crosshairs create an initial point of reference when sighting in a firearm or shooting at a distance where a bullet's trajectory change is negligible. Of course, crosshairs also become a point of aim at greater distances when mechanical windage and elevation adjustments are made, at least until you run out of adjustment or decide to use subtensions for holdover. Subtensions are the spaces between the subtension lines, also known as referencing lines or hash marks. Just to the right of the vertical axis line and below the horizontal axis line to the right of center, there are numbers. Each of those numbers references the corresponding hash mark's distance from center. Subtensions and hash marks are vital to using holdovers and ranging targets, especially on first focal plane optics. As examples, if you held the reference line on the horizontal axis of the reticle to the right of center, annotated with the number 2 on the bullseye, you would be holding 2 mils left. The reticle's crosshairs are now 2 mils to the left of center mass. If you place the hash mark referenced by number 4 on the lower half of the vertical axis on the bullseye, you are now holding over 4 mils. Remember, each subtension line is a half mil. Of course, this is only true through all magnification ranges on a first focal plane rifle scope like the Pinnacle. As they relate to second focal plane rifle scopes, subtensions and subtension lines are only accurate representations of standard mil or MOA at a single power of magnification. This is the primary reason long-distance shooters prefer the first focal plane rifle scopes to begin with. The further we move from the crosshairs, the more difficult it becomes to acquire precise holdovers. Since the lion's share of holdover aiming occurs below the horizontal axis, the Pinnacle, Citadel, and Latitude's mill-dash reticles includes a subtension grid that widens as you move further down the vertical axis. If you were to use 4 up and 2 left as holdovers, you'd hold the mark in the grid located 4 mils below the horizontal reticle axis and 2 mils to the right of the vertical axis on the bullseye. Subtensions are also great for rapid zeroing or sighting in. For this example, we'll use 100 yards as our distance. Shoot the target and note the shot placement. Now place the crosshairs on the bullseye again and determine how many mils your bullet hole is away from dead center. If subtension lines reveal your shot was 2.5 mils below and 2 mils to the right, you would adjust your elevation turret up 25 clicks and left 20 clicks, considering each click is 0.1 mil of adjustment. Take another shot and you should be on the bullseye or left with only fine tuning. Ranging targets using subtensions can be a quick, relatively accurate way to acquire distance data. Again, the beauty of first focal plane systems is that the incremental values represented by subtensions, lines, and numbers never changes at any magnification. Subtensions mean the same at 3 power as they do at 18 power, whether the target is right in front of you or 1,000 yards away. Remembering scopes like the Pinnacle, Citadel, and Latitude are based on mils with 10 mil turret adjustments helps us understand some quick math. 1/10 mil moves your point of impact 0.36 of an inch at 100 yards. This is equal to 1.8 inches at 0.5 mils and 3.6 inches at 100 yards per full mil of adjustment. Simplified because subtension lines on the Pinnacle, Latitude, and Citadel's reticles are based on 0.5 and 1 mil increments. This means a 36-inch tall by 18-inch wide silhouette would span the vertical height of 10 mils and horizontal width of 5 mils at 100 yards. So an adult figure that filled 10 vertical mils and 5 horizontal mils of your reticle would be an estimated 100 yards away. Since 0.1 mil at 100 yards is 0.36 of an inch, we know 0.1 mil represents 1.8 inches of adjustment at 500 yards. Extended out from 0.1 mil to a full mil, we then know a full mil represents 18 inches at 500 yards. Since the target is 36 inches tall by 18 inches wide, we know it should fill 1 horizontal mil and 2 vertical mils. If so, that target is 500 yards away. At 1,000 yards, we can double that. We know 0.1 mil is 3.6 inches of adjustment at 1,000 yards, and a full mil is 36 inches of adjustment at that range. So the target we've been looking at would fill 0.5 mil on the horizontal axis and 1 mil on the vertical axis. Understanding the adjustment values of 0.1 mil, 0.5 mil, and 1 mil at 100 yards, and then extending out over yardage, coupled with identifying your target and possessing basic estimation knowledge of its size, means you can range any identifiable target with some degree of accuracy simply by utilizing subtensions. They're on the firing line and shoot with one. If you want to learn more about Sightmark products, visit www.sightmark.com.